So here I am live producing from my car. Best office ever, don't you think? And CaSaundra is on the road, so you're not in your normal spot. No.
Just want to say, no. My truck is the best office ever.
Come on.
I don't know.
You're right. You win. This works. It's raining though, so you might hear raindrops. And if the helicopter has to come back to the hospital, I'm not at the hospital. My husband's at the dentist. So if he has to come back, then never mind.
Yeah, we'll do what we got to do.
The helicopter was here when I arrived, and it was making a lot of noise. And the hospital's right across from the dental school. So anyway, I ended up on my. Oh, let me turn up the. Look at that! I'll turn up the lights. Woo! I'm on my computer, and we got 92% energy, and it's working. It's working.
Very much working. Look at this.
Yes. Thank you, University of Otago, for some free Wi-Fi. I appreciate you. So hello to our listeners. New beginnings, fresh chapters. Yes. That is what we are talking about. New beginnings and fresh chapters.
Yes.
Yay. She's laughing.
I like that little la 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 la.
Yeah. Okay,
so what are we talking about, Miss Sarah?
Well, we have some questions. Most of the time, the puzzles we put together have some kind of a picture on the box cover that we follow. Mm-hmm. For the online business, though, that is not always true. So what we're going to attempt to do over the next 8 weeks is to help you see the big picture of the puzzle, how the big pieces of the puzzle work together to build an online business. So
that's right, because it is puzzles that make up puzzle, right? Sorry.
Yeah.
It's pieces.
It's pieces that make up the puzzle.
Mm-hmm. Make up the puzzle. Yes.
Oh, yeah. And
but each puzzle piece has many pieces of its own.
And just when I thought I had it sorted, it's like, nah, actually, there's another little piece of this puzzle. It's like, oh. So.
Or if you misplace a piece.
Tell us how you really feel.
I don't think I could actually do that because I'm not sure that it would be entirely polite or appropriate for the country, the proper, for the current company that we are engaging with.
I see.
Indeed.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Mm-hmm.
I see. So what is the first thing then we have to do with an online business since we don't have the picture for us?
I think it's one of those amazing WOSGIDG puzzles where you see what they're looking at, but you're not quite sure what the puzzle looks like. Does that make sense? Some of the WOSGIDG puzzles, they're completely backwards. So instead of looking at the picture, you're looking at what they're looking at. So instead of looking at me, you're looking from behind me to see what I'm looking at. So rather than looking towards me, you're looking this way. And I think that's what it's like with an online business. And we sort of think, okay, so we've got to picture this. What does an online business look like? Well, I guess it looks
and it can look different for different people, right?
Yeah. And that's the beauty of having an online business. I mean, you do get to, there's certain things, you got to have in place like any other business. But the thing about it is that you really can define your online business according to, your skill set, your personality, your lifestyle, your goals, of course, and even your dreams. And so that's the beauty of having an online business to me, is that you really do get a chance to write your own ticket and what that will look like, if you know what pieces you need.
But isn't that half the problem? For example, when I think of an online business, and I'm 6 months down the track, so I've had some training in this. Thank God I've had some training in this. But I mean, I used to think that it meant that, you know, you had to work harder and longer, and you know, for less income. And what I'm finding is the reverse is completely true. I'm working better with the time and energy that I have. So I work better first thing in the morning. So this morning I was awake at 6. I was in the pool by 7 o'clock. I worked out until 8, you know, came home, had my smoothie, came and sat in the office, and I've been working here ever since. And I've got 2 projects on the go at the moment, which is phenomenal, but unexpected, but also really exciting. One of them is taking a bit of a backseat because it doesn't need me to have as much hands-on with it. But just because it means that I don't have as much hands-on at the moment doesn't mean that I don't need to be still working my business. And I think that's the bit that I've got confused with.
So there's the piece of working in your business and working on your business. Working in your business, if we talk about Sarah's business, which is writing books and selling them online.
Yep.
Working in your business is writing the book. Working on your business is setting up the structures, getting everything together, and the overview of who am I going to reach? What am I going to do? How am I going to get this out there? Where am I going to take it? All of the overview kind of things that the CEOs do. That's working on your business rather than working in your business. And even some of the putting the things together, that's working in it, right? Once you know what the on is, more the planning and the you know, making sure things are continuing to move forward to make the whole big picture happen.
Definitely getting your strategy together, CaSaundra. I think you're right there.
Yeah, it's you know, and I used to think that there wasn't a difference. And I've learned that there is a difference in working on your business and working in your business. And as an online entrepreneur, you need to more likely at some point get to a place where you're working more on it than in it. And that's where systems come into play, and having a team comes into play of working in your business, and you stay as the CEO and visionary and execution and working on it. So yeah, it took me a while to understand the difference between the two. But once I got it, it made sense. And now that's where you really want to spend a lot of your time in, is in working on it versus working in it. And don't get me wrong, you got times that you do need to work in it, especially if you're in the early stages of your business. You're going to work a lot in it. But at some point, to take it to the next level, even if you are working kind of solo or you're having people that you outsource to help you as a collaborative team, you got to kind of make a decision at some point to do it a little differently. So I think that's, you know, where I am, where I really want to focus on working on it than in it, because when I was working in it, I didn't get a chance often to work on it. And you really have to be intentional, don't you think, Cindy Lou, about that? I mean, I've seen how your business has grown this past year, because you were working so much on it than in it. You know, and still the things
definitely.
you still have to do it, but
times that are using planning times and times that are specifically for working on the business and not working in it is so key to moving your business forward. Sarah, what are you writing?
I'm scrolling down all these things that are starting to fire through, which is fantastic, because that's the piece that I'm working on at the moment as a strategy, is to, you know, now that the illustrations are being done, what is it that I need to do next? And this is where I need to be working next, is on the marketing. I need to be bringing my story to market. Okay, it's not ready for sale yet, but pre-sales are important. Getting a team who is excited about who is as excited about the book as I am, you know, talking to bloggers, talking to mums, talking to Women's Refuge, talking to New Zealand Wool, talking to Kiravos, and talking about their business. There's talking to fashion designers who are using New Zealand wool, talking to the people who make the wool shoes and why they're doing that, and they're completely renewable and recyclable and that. So talking to them and finding out some more about how I can better promote their business through the book.
So are you telling me you're going to team up with other businesses?
Yeah, why not?
That's an amazing and smart way to do it. I think that oftentimes when people start online, they assume it's their business and they have to do it all.
It's true. Most people
and
do.
we don't have to do it all. Hey, I sent you both some questions. Oh, go ahead, Sarah.
So I think where an entrepreneur is in an incredible position is that if we look to elevate other businesses and if we look to honor them and elevate their way of being, their product, whatever it is that they're doing, if we look to elevate them, then they will automatically go, well, that's pretty radical. Why would you want to do that? And it's like, look, I really want to see you succeed. Come on, I really want to see you succeed. I really want to see that. And when you've got people who add that kind of weight to your business, you know, all of a sudden you find that they're turning around and they're saying, hey, you know, look, you've really got to talk to this author. She's got this incredible book. I'd love you to read it. Well, where can I buy it? Oh, here's the link.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm more interested in elevating them than I am in elevating myself. If I was looking to elevate myself over them, look at the difference. Whereas if I look at to elevate them, then all I can do is come up to their level and then be launched beyond. And I think that's kind of critical.
Yeah. So
Just
from the get-go, you're looking at who can I team up with? You're not like building it all out, getting it all published, and then going, now what? Right?
Mm-hmm.
You're in the process of the publishing. You're in the process of the writing. You're in the process of the book being created. And you're already forward thinking and visioning where you're going to go. You're picturing where you're going to be going with this, where you want to take it, and who can help you with the message that they already have that matches what you're doing, that complements what you're doing, right?
Yeah.
It's not exactly the same, but it's a complementing thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's you're looking for where does your item benefit them?
Yes.
And coming at it from that serving piece of it. Who can we serve? Who can we solve? What did I wrote it? Who can we basically solve the puzzle for, right? Who can we add a piece of our puzzle, our piece of our business to them to make their business stronger?
And that's where I think the collaboration purposes come into play.
Super exciting.
Yeah. Collaboration purposes where you do, like you said, Sarah, you know, helping to elevate their business, and then yours comes in and then it goes to the next level. So, you know, collaboration and supporting, you know, one another, even especially on the mindset piece, you know, because I think, you know, at least from what I'm finding out now, and maybe it's just the stage where I am in my business and in my person, is that mindset is like the game changer. You know, it's critical to your business. You know, you can have systems in place, you can have access, you can have a team, you can have all that in it, but if your mind is not in the game and you're not setting your mind with the needed intentions to execute, and not only to execute but to endure, you know, your business is gonna fail.
But this is part of it. These are part of what the questions that Cindy Lou sent is, what message are you sharing? So how can the message that I'm sharing elevate somebody else? How can the piece that I'm bringing help somebody else?
Yeah. And
so often when we think, you know, home business, I've got to do it. I've got to be, I've got to, me. And we get so inward focusing that we completely forget to look around and say, okay, who can I partner with? Who can I elevate? Who can I lift? Who can I share? Who can I strengthen? Who can I equip? Who can I, and that's, while I look at my book and I think, well, what puzzle am I solving? I'm just bringing one piece of the puzzle rather than thinking I'm the whole package. I don't want to be arrogant here, but I probably am quite a complete package, but I'm certainly not the whole puzzle piece, like I'm not the whole puzzle. When I'm thinking in terms of wool, I'm not the whole puzzle piece, but I can elevate the New Zealand wool board. I can elevate New Zealand sheep and beef. I can elevate, what are the name of the wool shoes? I think it's Woolsies or something along those lines. I can elevate their story. I can elevate what they're doing and why they're doing it. And I can use theirs to, say, hey, look, this is what we're doing. This is why we're doing it. This is 100% renewable. This is 100% regenerative. This is 100% biodegradable. Wake up, people, and pay attention, because we're also going into the sanitary market. A baby will use 6,000 diapers by the time they're toilet trained. Well, there's a company here in New Zealand that is working towards making wool disposable nappies. And the reason they're wool is because the way that they've been treated is to make them absorbent rather than repellent. So the inner is absorbent, the outer is repellent, and Shazam, we've now got a 100% biodegradable, 100% renewable, 100% organic product that doesn't add to the landfill problem.
Social responsibility.
Come on.
Absolutely. And so we can elevate their message by the book. And we can do that by providing links. We can talk about it in the book. We can talk about it in the marketing. We can talk about it in conversation with other people. Hey, I see those shoes are really awesome. Have you tried these shoes? I mean, who doesn't pull out their lippy at lunchtime and say, oh man, this is so good. My lips are just so bad. And people will know because you had, really bad lips, blah, blah, blah. And you can point them in the direction of, well, have you tried this product? It's incredible. It's lanolin. It's from sheep's wool.
That's incredible.
That's amazing stuff too.
That's going to be a game changer. Seriously.
I used to always have blistered lips. Summer and winter made no difference. Lanolin. I had the most horrendous cracked hands. Lanolin. Not glycerin. Lanolin.
Wow.
That's from wool.
So collaboration.
Yeah.
Sustainability. Sustainability.
Absolutely.
So what are some of the other questions that you had on the list there?
So the questions we have, picture it. What is it? What is your vision?
Visioneering, picturing it. What does that look like?
Yeah. So what is your picture? So my picture, for example, is my book. What is it? What's my vision? My vision is I want to tell the story of how wool is redefining the current economy and how it is redefining how we look at products. They're fusing wool, the dirtiest, foulest, most disgusting wool with cornstarch, and they're making a plastic product that is 100% biodegradable, 100% renewable.
So it's like that vision of transforming, let's say just the baby little situation where they get the baby diapers that made of wool. It's just like transforming a baby's experience and a parent's, experience with knowing that they're putting something that's on the baby that's healthy and it's good for the earth, it's good for the baby, it's organic. And it's going to change the industry, the game of the industry.
Absolutely.
And it's a disruptor. I love it.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
really
So,
cool
and
thing
your
is,
vision is so much bigger. Keep going. Your vision is bigger than your book. That's what I'm saying. So
oh
keep
yeah,
going.
absolutely. Because it's not just telling it's not just telling a cute story about a lamb on the backside of, a lamb on the backside of nowhere. It is actually telling the story from source to consumer.
Transformational.
It's farm to plate. You can have the town and the country, not town or country, but this is the puzzle. This is the amazing thing. See, my kids, I wanted to be a responsible mother and use cloth nappies because they were better for my children. They could breathe. They were, I could boil them. I could, hang them out overnight. They'd get frozen, get rid of all the bugs and all that sort of thing. But when it came time to teething, when they were teething, their bottoms blistered. And so I couldn't use cloth nappies on them anymore. I tried all kinds of creams. I tried all kinds of potions. I tried all kinds of lotions. Now, my children are in their 20s. My youngest is 20 this year. My oldest is almost 30. So you've got to understand that the market has changed so vastly. And so for me to hear the story about this lady in Wellington who is now looking at how to bring this wool product and how she's treating it and making it absorbable, so it's absorbable wool on the inside and repellent wool on the outside, you've got a completely breathable product that is going to hold everything. And then we go and match them up with Keravos, which is another company in Timaru, and he is making a plastic polymer out of cornstarch and the dags of wool. So all the bits that they shear off around the sheep's bottoms, all the bellies, the crutchings, all that kind of thing. So it's the rubbish wool. And he is setting the price for the market. So he's changing things as well in the way that he's doing business and telling his story of how he is making this polymer through however it is that he does it. But it has come out that it is completely plastic. Now, this is tougher than plastic. And it's wool and cornstarch.
Wow.
So I'm able to tell his story.
Yeah, so the message you're sharing is more than just your book. It's
absolutely
how that wool that comes off of that little sheep who didn't want to have or lamb who didn't want to have his first cut, so you're teaching, it's twofold. You're teaching emotional IQ to the kids, and you're teaching renewable energy and renewable living to everyone by taking what was taken off the lamb and showing how it can be used and reused, and it can protect our property, our land, our country, our world. So you have huge, big vision of where you're going. So where you're going, so this whole first piece of the puzzle actually doesn't have anything to do with the guts of the business as far as the 1, 2, 3 steps. It has to do with what is your vision? What are you picturing that you're bringing into the world to bring a message and solve a puzzle piece of the world's problems, right? Because I've always heard, what problem are you solving? But as soon as I shifted it from problem to puzzle, what is the puzzle that I'm helping to solve by my business? I'm helping people
this question.
to
Why did you?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It
was
go
ahead.
Few seconds delayed here on my end.
No,
so my question to you is, Cindy Lou, what made you decide to go from, with the puzzle factor versus what problem
Well,
are you solving?
It started.
What made you shift to that approach?
To that, it started actually in one of my coaching calls with Sarah when I was helping her to figure out things, and I was helping her set up her chat bots. It started a little bit before that, but it really got solid that day. She's like, "I thought I'd just follow these directions and I'd have this thing going and we'd be done. Like it just seems so simple. I just need this chatbot to help me talk to people while I'm sleeping in case somebody in the US wants to order while we're sleeping. We don't want them sitting there going, is there really a person connected to this? So we've got a little bot that's set up to now answer them and take them on the journey. In setting that up, Sarah's like, there's so many pieces. And I went, yes. And I had already been thinking about and pondering, helicopter coming back, y'all. I'd already been pondering writing a book. And so this is the beginning of the writing of that book. And it's going to be about the 8 puzzle pieces to business. And the first puzzle piece is picturing it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we're talking about today. I'm going to mute my end because I don't know if it's noisy or not.
No,
It's not nosy. No.
Okay, you can't hear
fine.
that helicopter?
You can hear
No.
it very faintly, but there's nothing.
Okay, good.
Had you
I
not
don't
said
hear it
anything, we wouldn't
faintly.
even notice.
I don't hear it
Had
faintly.
you not mentioned it, yeah, that's a good helicopter.
It's right over my head.
Barely.
Anyway, that's the joy of being on the road. So online business means I can be here. My husband's in his dentist appointment. I can be here sitting out in the car and doing this. Like, it is possible. I didn't tell the ladies a lot ahead that I was going to be on the road. I did tell them before so that they wouldn't freak out that I was in my car, and that, they'd be gracious if I was a minute or two late. And I wasn't too bad. I was only about 2 minutes late. So to our pre-start time, I got it to work. I was like, oh Lord, this isn't working. I had to try 3 different ways, but I got here. So yeah, you were doing the same thing.
We
right.
both, I
And
think
so
that,
we're
yeah, I
solving
was doing the same thing on my end.
constantly, right? We're always solving a puzzle piece as we're doing our online business, whether it's connecting online, whether it's, how do I market to new people? Who do I connect with? Who are the people, where am I going? Who's going with me? There's some of these other questions that we were asking, who's going with you?
Mhm.
Or, thinking big picture. There's no limits. You can go with anyone. You can take anyone you want with you.
And that's the beauty. Sorry about that. A little seconds delay here. My apologies for the disruption there. But I think that's the beauty of pivoting, and that's the power of pivoting. You need to be able to pivot in your business at any given point because of the big picture and because of who you're taking with you and why you're doing what you're doing in your vision. And you always have to be ready to pivot, especially to me in the online world, because there's new technologies that are unfolding. There's new strategies that are working that, some are just foundational and some are just for the moment of where the market is. And so you have to be ready to pivot. Like we're doing today. Like, I'm not normally at my
power of the pivot.
The power of the pivot. Exactly. Yes. And I'm not at my normal location. So I ran into technical challenges, and I, shared that with Cindy Lou ahead of time. And it just opened up, and I was able to connect, right before, like 10 or 15 minutes before doing the show, because I really wanted to be a part of the show today. And so that's the beauty of being an entrepreneur online. You have the ability to be mobile, whatever that looks like, being in your car, at your home, on the go in my case. And so, Sarah's at her home, all stable and sound, and, we're all mobile-ish on our in here. And of course, you, my dear, Cindy Lou, is super mobile. And so that's the beauty of being able to enjoy being an entrepreneur online. It's not stressful as it would be, having to show up somewhere and be somewhere for 8 hours or 12 hours or 15 hours.
It's a different stress.
Yeah.
I totally talked over you, but I had to, because it's a different stress. It's a different stress, right? It's not the same kind of stress.
Yeah.
And some people do super well showing up at their 8 o'clock job every day. Some people, that's exactly what they want.
Mm-hmm.
Online business is not for everyone.
And this is the thing. It's so hard for me to imagine going back to doing business the way I did it before going online. It just is. And God knows it's very hard for me to imagine transitioning back into a 9 to 5. It's very foreign to me. I can't, my mind just, it's just not how I'm wired. I mean, I wasn't wired then, but I had to do it because there was no online business, back in the 80s and 90s, at least. That's certainly not the early part. But the great part about that is that we get to really define what our online business lifestyle looks, because not all of our lifestyles are totally different.
You got to hold your mic away from your necklace.
Oh, can you hear me now? Sorry about that.
That's better. No, yeah, we were just hearing the necklace going.
Sorry, it wasn't even. It didn't even look like it was moving here. But thanks, do tell. So what I was saying is that all of our businesses, as far as our lifestyles, are so different. And that's the great part of having that adjustability with an online business when it comes to your personal lifestyle and blending in your personal life and your business life together.
What say ye, Sarah? You are thinking. You are processing. I see it.
Yes, we do.
Yep. Lots of cogitation happening here.
Are you going to share your cogitations with us?
Yeah, I was just looking at my garden, and I was looking where there was a couple of big elderflowers, and they're absolutely brilliant. You want to get the flowers off them and make the most incredible elderflower cordial or wine or champagne or whatever. Anyway, the thing is that we have set ideas about what work is. And I kind of had a set idea that I wanted these plants in my garden. And then I realized that actually they don't work in my garden. And so taking what you've been saying and now looking out the window, it's as if there's another shift in my thinking. There's a gear change. It's like, oh, of course, that makes total sense. Because I'm looking out where these elderflower trees were, and they've been cut down, and they need digging out to have something else planted there. It's not that the garden was wrong. It's not that the soil was wrong. It's not even that the idea of growing something was wrong. It's just that it was the wrong plant in the wrong place.
Some good stuff right there, Sarah.
So, and sometimes I think we get this idea that, oh, okay, no, this isn't working, therefore the whole idea has to be scrapped. No. The whole idea doesn't have to be scrapped, and it's important that we don't scrap the whole idea, because there's something good and inherently right in the idea that we have. But if we have got some flowers like these tulips, which flower and are amazing, and they die back, we need to, if we want to have more color in our garden, we need to put something else in there. Because the tulips aren't going to last all year round. It's just not in their nature. That's not what they do. It's no different to the elderflowers here. I mean, there's hundreds of the damn things up and down the street. They're a weed. I can go rambling and find it, and it's actually far better for me to go rambling because I get the exercise then, but I also enjoy it. And have something that's of a better function and a better fit in my garden, rather than something that is going to be invasive and toxic, invasive. So,
yeah. Go ahead.
Toxic
go with that
and invasive. I think also that's the other thing, is that sometimes where we think there was something that was good, that becomes toxic and invasive, we need to be bold enough to say, you know what, this just isn't working in this environment at this time. And we have to be strong enough to say that. Whose business is it? It's my business. Is this working for me at this time? Or is it a toxic and invasive situation? And if it's either toxic or invasive, or if it's both, then as the gardener, I need to know, as the steward of my business, I need to know that it's not working in this environment. I need something else there, because what is there just isn't working. So having those kinds of conversations, how would you suggest you have those kinds of conversations, ladies?
Well, I
What
think
was
you
that?
just have to.
I was just saying, how do you have the kind of conversations where you figure out that something is toxic and invasive in your garden, which happens to be your business? How do you steward that resource well?
Yeah, and that's where sometimes you have to bring other people in to help you. And it's not so much that they are going to give you the solution, it's that you now have a sounding board to speak your solutions out, and you will come to the answer yourself. You will actually answer your own questions. Having that sounding board there is a help to your processing. And they're able to help you by reflecting back what you're saying in a way that you can now hear what you've been thinking.
Mm.
Most of us can't actually hear what we're thinking. We have subconscious thoughts of how many thousands a
20,000.
minute?
Mm.
A minute? I mean, it's like crazy the amount of thoughts that are going through our brain that we are not consciously aware of. When we have someone to talk with, we are now able to put it out of our head, and they can help formulate what you just said and give it back to you in a way that you can now hear what's been floating in your head. And that's what a brainstorming is all about. And there's no limits on brainstorming, and it's think big picture.
That's when you spit everything out, isn't it? And you don't judge it, you don't think about it, you just say, you grab those thoughts and you put it down. I'm doing this a lot at the moment. I have a cupboard that I can write on with a whiteboard dry erase marker. And I also have a dry board, a whiteboard as well. So I've got the outside of the cupboard covered in notes. I've got the side of the cupboard covered in notes. I've got the inside doors covered in notes. And I've got the wall covered in notes as well. But the peace that it's bringing me is phenomenal, because things get done and my brain is a lot quieter because I've got all this stuff written down. And then when anybody says, can I help? It's like, yeah, sure. Go have a look at the list. What can you do? Rather than saying, I want you to do this, and them saying, oh no, I don't want to do that. And you say, well, look, just go choose something off the board. I don't mind. Just take anything. Honestly, just take anything. I'll help you with it. I'll direct you to whatever you need. But look, honestly, just take something off that board and get it done. Perfect. It's me.
Awesome.
Or it might be, can you take me out for a coffee? Or it might be, can you look after my cat for 2 months while we find a place to live? Sure, I'm going to be away 4 days next week, but sure, the cat will be inside. Hope he doesn't destroy the place. She doesn't destroy the place, but yeah, I'm fine. Yeah. I mean, working an online business is so different to what I thought it would be. It is so more in tune with who I am as a woman. Right. It is so more in tune with me as a friend. It is so more in tune with me as a daughter. It is so much more in tune with me as a businesswoman, as an entrepreneur. You know, I never dreamed that business could be this good. You know, I loved my previous job as a truck driver. You know, I loved my job as a truck driver.
But oh, how you love what you're doing now.
Oh my gosh.
And it's so much to who you are. Love it.
What I'm doing now, it just, I mean, I thought I was happy before. I'm in the outer stratosphere now doing what I'm doing.
You know,
Mhm.
you said something earlier, and I'm going to challenge you on it
Uh-oh. Okay.
because I know how much you loved truck driving.
Yep.
And I know how much you've been beating yourself up about the fact that you couldn't get back to truck driving.
Yet.
I want to challenge you on, are you meant to go back to truck driving, or was it for a season?
Say it again.
I just want you to sit with that.
Can you repeat it?
Are you meant to go back and truck drive, or was that meant for a season? And it was a season of your confidence level being built, of your dreams being fulfilled, of you getting to do everything you wanted to do as a little girl and dreamed of doing. Just say it. You may not need to spend all that energy to get back to that. God may have you on a bigger truck, taking a bigger message to the world.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you know this, Sarah. You know this. Come on. You know this.
Now, that's not to say that you'll never get
I
yourself
think that
behind the wheel of a truck. You will. But it will not be your vocation.
What were you saying,
will be
CaSaundra? Sorry,
your
we
joy.
broke up a bit.
No, I think that the truck it served its purpose for a season. And the thing about that is that what you're doing, if you think about it, is symbolic. The mission that you're on, you know, when you think about a truck, it's one of the usually most massive moving components on the road. There's usually nothing bigger that's on four wheels than a large semi truck. And so I believe that, can you guys hear me? Is it my earpiece? It's not banging up against anything.
It was.
Maybe it's the earrings.
It
Oh
was.
my
I don't know what it was
gosh.
hitting with something.
Okay. OMG, my goodness. I'm coming here with nothing on except for my glasses and a shirt. Anyway, my point is, it's okay. Meaning no earrings, no makeup, no glasses, no nothing. It causes makeup. So anyway, my point is that I got to get used to earpiece ministry. But my point is that, you know, God used the trucking business allow you to make an impact, to find your freedom, right? On the road, have these thoughts, have these dreams, have this vision, and use that season to shift you now into this current season there you're in, which now you get to make an incredible impact globally. You would have not been able to touch physically in a semi truck, but yet the impact is all about major, big, transformational movement. And so, as Cindy Lou said, you're still in the semi. It's just different. You know what I mean? It's like what you're doing now is far greater than what you were doing before, and that had its thing, and it was good and it was purposeful. But you're symbolically you are a Mack truck, and you're still moving, and you're gonna, you know, you're bringing great loads, big loads of impact to people's purposes through your purpose. So I'm ecstatic that what you were in that you love so much was really you on the inside out. If that makes sense.
Yeah, come on.
And I'm done, baby.
You get to own that bigness, darling.
Yeah,
You get to own the hugeness of what your message is to the world.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what friends will help you do. They will help you see the bigger vision. Yes, you could absolutely get to the point where you could get behind a truck again and drive. I want you to think about how many hours in a day you were in that truck when it was your vocation. Now, when you go back to truck driving, I want you to do it in your vacation times for fun, for joy, sheer joy without having to make an income from it. I have a feeling that Mac maybe has been saying this to her because she's throwing things at him.
Is she? Well, I like that, Mac. I mean, think about how symbolic is Mac's name, baby.
Oh, yeah, about that. That just remind me something about later when we're
Yes.
no longer live.
I think we're good. I think we have exhausted it,
Yep,
and we have
we did what
challenged.
we're supposed to.
We have challenged you sufficiently, if not a bit more than sufficiently, today to really think about what is the really big picture that you've got going on with your business. Where are you going? What are you doing? Who are you taking with you? What is the message you're bringing to the world? And really start picturing it even bigger than you have yet. Really let it expand. Take the week to completely look at the picturing of it. So next week, we're going to talk on the next piece of the puzzle, which is starting to, I think it's plan it, but I didn't bring my papers with me. So if I got that wrong, we'll be fixing it in the announcement.
Yep, plan it.
Yep. I think that's wonderful.
Another announcement like we did this week. It will be announced here on the page, and we will be talking to you next week. Do you have any closing words, Sarah or CaSaundra?
I think the last statement that you just made, which looked like it was directly towards Sarah, but it was really towards all of us. And when I mean all of us, I'm talking about you ladies and great gents that are watching. Those questions that Cindy Lou just said is for you, not just for us, which it is, but I want to make sure that you guys respond. So take a moment and respond in the comments what you got out of it. What was the aha? What was the next instruction that you got out of this? What was the pivotal moment for you? Where are you at in your mindset? And what actions are you going to take towards your plan and planning it and execution? So do share that with us so that we all can be held accountable to our words and our intentions and supporting one another. That's all I got to say. Anything else, Sarah?
Just that the plan that you had that you think is going to be the one that you... Just the plan that you thought that you were going to have looks a whole lot different than what you thought it was going to look like. And when that's just confusing. But no, it's not. It's not confusing. Like I said, the truck used to be was the way that I...
We're all broken up and talking over each other.
We are really, eh?
Goodbye. Hold on.
If that helicopter's landed over here, we'll be talking all over each other and with the bouncing around with it with the rotor blades, and that it really messes up things. So sufficient to say that just because you have a plan, it doesn't mean that it's not the plan anymore. It just might be a different plan to the one that you had in the first place. But you may still be doing what you always thought you were doing. It just doesn't quite look the way that you thought it would.
That's it, girl. That's so true. You nailed it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I can't wait to go back and watch that because it was refreshing on my side crazy. So I think my computer has reached its limits.
Okie dokie.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what's there at the end of that. So to everyone, I'm going to say goodbye before we end up more circling on my side. And we'll see you all next week where I'll be able to, I'll be in my office. I should be able to go ahead and do it. We're going to end now. Bye.
Bye. See you guys.